Warning! This video contains spoilers for Donkey Kong Bonanza, so if you haven't finished the game yet, be warned. But Donkey Kong Bonanza has been out for nearly a month, and not only is this game absolutely incredible, and one of my favorite games of all time, actually beating out Odyssey in my opinion, but this game elevated the Donkey Kong franchise to a whole new level. Like, it's now at a comparable level to Mario, Zelda, and Nintendo's other large franchises. They now see Donkey Kong as one of their main pillars now, which is incredible. I feel like Donkey Kong should have been at this level a long time ago, but it's great that Nintendo is finally fully embracing it and is finally doing a lot with Donkey Kong now. Like, over the past few years, they've been hinting towards bringing Donkey Kong up to this level, like with all this merchandise in the theme park and Donkey Kong's big presence in the Mario movie, but it seems like now we are fully seeing this play out. So I think there is a lot of potential for the future of Donkey Kong, and I wanted to discuss that in this video. And I also think it's worth mentioning that K-Rool is back! He's finally back, and the Kremlings are back. That is just incredible, and I feel like K-Rool's presence in Bonanza is also kind of hinting towards the future of the franchise as well. I feel like they are finally bringing K-Rool back front and center as the main villain of the Donkey Kong franchise again. No more just like random villains. I mean, I like unique villains in Donkey Kong games. Like Boy Kong is pretty cool, and even the villains in Donkey Kong Jungle Beat are pretty interesting, but I feel like they should coexist with K-Rool, not completely replace K-Rool. So I am just so happy to see K-Rool back, and I really hope he's gonna be a major part of this Donkey Kong revival. So, with this Donkey Kong revival, on top of Bonanza, there are a couple other things that we already know. I already mentioned Super Nintendo World with the Donkey Kong Country expansion that's already out. And we also recently got the news that they are doing a Donkey Kong movie. We don't know much information about that, but it's probably going to be based on the universe of the Mario movie with Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. And I have a good feeling that K-Rool is going to be the main villain, just like with his presence in Bonanza. I feel like that kind of solidifies that. Like I was saying maybe in the discussion that I did with Demeech and TND a few weeks ago, but yeah, now I think it's pretty likely that he's going to be the main villain of the movie. I don't see what else they would really do here, just due to how iconic King K. Rool is. But we don't really know much, but I feel like they'll probably announce a lot more in terms of Donkey Kong over time. Like, there are definitely some potential future releases we could see. And one of them is an update for Mario Kart World. There isn't much Donkey Kong content in Mario Kart World. We really only have DK, Pauline, one outfit for each of them, and then like just obviously Donkey Kong's like stages and things. I really like DK Spaceport. I think that's a really cool course in the game, but other than that, there really isn't much in terms of Donkey Kong. So I could definitely see an update, like adding new characters. Like, we've already seen, like, some speculation about Void Kong and King K. Rool being added to the game, since the voice actors for both from Bonanza are also credited in Mario Kart World. Now, granted, they could be existing characters in Mario Kart World that are, like, already in the game, but I feel like there is still a possibility and a good chance that Void Kong and King K. Rool could be added, as well as Diddy Kong and Funky Kong. I think that's very likely at this point, like especially due to the lack of presence that Donkey Kong has in the game, just with the lack of outfits and everything. It really kind of seems like to me that that's kind of screaming towards like an update or something like that. There has to be something. So I'm definitely expecting a Mario Kart World update sometime in the near future. And another thing kind of related to Mario is I'm definitely expecting the Kremlings and extended Kong family to appear more often in the Mario spin-offs. Like, I could definitely see them appearing like as they did in like the 2000s, kind of like how Critter was in the older Mario Strikers games, and King K. Rool was in the Mario baseball games, as well as Critter too. So I could definitely see them being in more games, like maybe even like more Kongs as well, like aside from Diddy Kong and Funky Kong, like maybe Dixie Kong could appear more often, maybe Cranky Kong, especially since Cranky was in the movie, maybe Chunky Kong, or Tiny Kong. It would just be great to see more Kongs and more Donkey Kong characters in general. And then in terms of new Donkey Kong games, I could definitely see a new 2D Donkey Kong game in the near future, kind of like how they have both 3D and 2D Mario coexisting, and presumably both 2D and 3D Kirby coexisting. I could definitely see a new 2D Donkey Kong game in the near future, and I think a possible developer could either be Goodfeel or EPD10. I think the more likely one is Goodfeel. I feel like EPD10 is kind of sticking mostly to like 2D Mario and Pikmin, but Goodfeel, I could definitely see them doing that. Like, I mean, I know Goodfeel is busy with like a lot of projects like Yoshi and potentially like more games like Backaroo or Peach Showtime, but I think a new 2D Donkey Kong game from them would be really nice. And another one that I would have said was Retro, because they would make a lot of sense, but they seem to be busy with Metroid, and there's like a lot of speculation and rumors about them just continuing Metroid Prime just right after 4, going like right into Metroid Prime 5. So if that's the case, then it's very unlikely that we'd get a 2D Donkey Kong game from them. But I definitely think a new 2D Donkey Kong game will happen fairly soon for like the Switch 2. So I really hope that happens. And if it happens, I feel like King K. Rool could be like the main villain, kind of like his return to the 2D games. And I feel like he'd be more prominently featured as the main villain. Maybe do something like a little more creative with him, but kind of have him as the spotlight. I think that would make a lot of sense. And I could also see a remake of an older Donkey Kong game. I'm thinking either 64 or Jungle Beat, and it would be developed by either Grezzo or a combination of Nintendo Software Technology and EPD8/Tokyo, kind of like how Bowser's Fury was developed. Something like that, like kind of in the middle of the Switch 2 era would be nice, like kind of in between like major Donkey Kong games. I just think that would be nice. Like, we don't have Donkey Kong 64 on Nintendo Switch Online yet, so it would be really nice to see it remade, because I do feel like the game does have like some flaws that could be ironed out in a remake. And it would also be cool to see like Jungle Beat remade as well, since like the Wii version was kind of more of a traditional platformer, so I do think it could be adapted for the Switch 2. So either of those games being remade would be nice as well. And also, another kind of underrated one is a new Mario vs. Donkey Kong game in the style of Donkey Kong 94, and I feel like Nintendo Software Technology would probably be developing that one, like, as they developed all of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, but I do think it would be really nice to see, like, a new traditional one. Maybe even have it starring Donkey Kong Jr., kind of have it be a Donkey Kong Jr. revival. That's one idea that Sochi threw out a while ago, so I think that would be really cool, but I definitely think there's a lot of potential for a new traditional DK94 style game. And then, I think there are some even crazier ideas for Donkey Kong as well that they could do in the near future. These are pretty unlikely, but I could still see them happening just due to how big Nintendo wants to make Donkey Kong. And one of those ideas is a Diddy Kong Racing sequel. Basically kind of revive the idea of Donkey Kong Racing that was like canceled on the GameCube, kind of bring that back, but with a different developer, obviously. Like, I'm thinking either Next Level Games or Bandai Namco could develop something like that, but I think that would be amazing. I think there is just so much potential for a roster in a Donkey Kong spin-off. Like, you can add in all of the Diddy Kong Racing characters, like even like Banjo and Conker, due to Nintendo's good relationship with Microsoft. I think that's pretty likely that they would do that, as well as like the vast variety of characters from throughout the Donkey Kong franchise, like all the Kongs, the Kremlings, even like some of the other villains like Voidco, and even the Tiki Tak tribe. Like all of those characters from throughout the franchise would be really cool to see in like a big roster like that. So I think like a Diddy Kong Racing sequel has a ton of potential. And I really want to see Diddy Kong Racing on Nintendo Switch Online as well. I don't know why it's still not on there yet, but I want to see it sometime soon. And then finally, another really crazy idea that I have. This is kind of a pipe dream, but a Donkey Kong RPG. I think most of you guys know how much I love the Mario RPGs. So, seeing a Donkey Kong RPG in a similar style to either Paper Mario or Mario & Luigi would be absolutely incredible. Like, that would just be insane. Like, have it either developed by Intelligent Systems or Acquire, kind of like either have that Thousand Year Door-esque gameplay style or Mario & Luigi. Man, that would just be incredible. Like maybe have like K. Rool and even like an original villain, like a ton of new characters combined with the existing characters. There's so much potential that they could do for a Donkey Kong RPG, just with how fleshed out the universe is. And I really hope they do it sometime in the future, because that would just be amazing. Or even like a crossover between like Mario and Luigi or Donkey Kong, kind of like how Mario and Luigi did with Paper Mario, like Paper Jam, but actually have it like more interesting and creative. That would just be really cool. So yeah, I just think there's a lot of potential for what Nintendo could do with Donkey Kong in the future, and I really hope they deliver. I really hope they actually treat Donkey Kong like a major pillar, like a major franchise in Nintendo. I really hope they're gonna treat it that way, like after Bonanza. It really seems like they will, but I don't want them to fumble this at the same time. But anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments, and anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!